With Texas joining the SEC on July 1st, a lot of people are excited about what's to come in conference play for the Texas Longhorns. Now, with that excitement and anticipation comes a question. Who will Texas's new rivals be in the SEC? Now, fortunately for the Longhorns, their most established rivals are all in one place. They're all in the Southeastern Conference. Of course, I'm talking about Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. So for the sake of this discussion, I'm not including any of these three teams. All three of them are very well-established rivals to the University of Texas. And even though Texas A&M and Arkansas, those games have been played not at all or very sporadically over the last several years, those rivalries are still there. All it takes is for them to be reactivated again, and you'll see them heat up very quickly. So this discussion is not about any of these three established rivals. We're talking about new rivals. Now, understanding that, I see three schools from the SEC that jump out automatically as far as new rivals for the University of Texas. Number one, Alabama. Now, I know everybody in the SEC claims to be Alabama's rival or wants to be Alabama's rival. But I think if you look at these two programs, UT and Alabama, you see a lot of similarities. First off, as far as brand value, it does not get much bigger in college football than Texas and Alabama. Both brands are instantly recognizable. When it comes to college football history, much the same can be said. You look at the winningest college football programs in history, Alabama ranks second with 965 wins, Texas ranks fourth with 948 wins. And that's where I think the flavor of this rivalry is going to come from. It's not so much a personal, bitter rivalry. It's more of a professional rivalry. Who is the best team? Who is the top dog of them all? And I think you're going to see that across a variety of sports. Now, looking back the last 2 years of college football, we had two instant classic games between these two teams. In 2022, Alabama comes into Austin, pulls out a last-second victory over the Longhorns. In 2023, Texas comes into Tuscaloosa and returns the favor. Both of those were outstanding football games. I think we're going to see more of that in the future. And it's not going to be just limited to the football field. You're going to see the same intensity on the baseball field, on the basketball court, wherever Texas and Alabama meet. There's going to be a rivalry there, and that rivalry is going to be all about, okay, we are the best of the best. We're the true top dogs in the SEC. Number two, LSU. Now, as professional and ambitious as I see the Texas and Alabama rivalry, the potential Texas and LSU rivalry is the exact opposite. It's going to be based on complete hatred. When these two teams meet, LSU and Texas, it really doesn't have anything to do with standings or the number of wins in program history. All of that garbage is thrown out the window. This is a very bitter, personal feud between the two schools. Go back to that game in 2019 in Austin. The very good game, by the way. LSU won that one 45-38 in a very tight matchup. If you go back to that game, there was all sorts of trickery. There was all sorts of bitter personal disputes going on well before the game even started. LSU claimed that Texas did not set out any water for them pre-game. So you had LSU defensive backs going over to the Texas sideline and drinking from their water bottles. Allegedly, Texas responded to this disrespect by shutting off the air conditioning in the LSU locker room at halftime of this game. So this kind of underscores the feeling, the vibe of the Texas-LSU rivalry. As professional and ambitious as Texas versus Alabama is going to be and has been, it's the exact opposite. It is bitter, it is personal, it is acrimonious, and it's going to make for a lot of good television. Number three, Tennessee. As crazy personal as Texas-LSU is, I think you can flip the script one more time. I see Texas and Tennessee starting off what you could call a friendly rivalry. There's some interesting commonalities between the two programs. Of course, Texas, Tennessee, the two orange programs in the SEC, both of them claiming to be the real UT. You could easily say that both schools have incredibly unique fan bases in the conference. And there's also this kind of quasi-mystical connection between the states of Tennessee and Texas. Of course, Sam Houston, one of the founding fathers of Texas, was former governor of Tennessee. Also, Davy Crockett, one of the most famous people in American history, was a representative from the state of Tennessee in the U.S. House of Representatives before going to Texas and ultimately perishing at the Alamo. So there is certainly a historical connection between the two states as well. And I think you're going to see this develop into a relatively friendly rivalry between the Texas Longhorns and the Tennessee Volunteers. And on the football field, I would love to see some sort of rivalry game being played between the two for the Golden Tee Trophy. If anyone from the SEC offices is listening, I give that one freely away to you. Now, as far as the SEC goes, you never know what can happen in league play. There could be other rivalries that develop that are totally unforeseen. Maybe a team like Florida or Georgia or Missouri could jump out and become the rival of the Texas Longhorns. But for my money, I see three teams that really fit the bill for potential new rivals in the SEC, and those are Alabama, LSU, and Tennessee. Feel free to let me know what you think. I'm always curious to read your thoughts. I hope you have a great day. I hope God blesses you tremendously, and I cannot wait for SEC football. This is Kevin in Texas saying God bless you and hook 'em horns. I'll talk to you later. Bye.